What can you buy with $100 US? 70 cheeseburgers? 200 packs of ramen? A night at a motel? A really cheap smartphone? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Team Sonic Racing?
Or you can purchase PDI Check.
Yes, you're seeing that right. Released on May 23rd of 2019, PDI Check costs a whopping $99 on the 3DS eShop. Now at this point, you're probably already planning on memeing the heck out of it, saying stuff like, who would pay $100 for something that barely resembles a game on the eShop? But I'm going to give this app the context it so desperately needs. PDI Check is not a game, but an app intended for medical use, and it's already been used by doctors for quite a while before its eShop debut. It's brought to you by one Dr. Robert Arnold, an ophthalmologist eye doctor in the Alaska Children's Eye and Strabismus Clinic. I'm gonna spare you the rest of the medical terms, but basically Dr. Arnold here specializes in eye examinations and medical care. Along with him is Alex Damarjian, apologies if I pronounced that wrong, who is the main programmer behind the app. He's worked on licensed video games before, but his background in technology and humanities gave him the interest in helping to develop PDI Check.
Well, for me, it was always a dream to make a Nintendo game since I was a kid.
Being a collaboration between multiple eye doctors, this is certainly a neat idea. To use a game system as a tool to evaluate different aspects of our eyesight, such as visual acuity, color vision, and of course, stereoscopic vision. I mean, it adds up, right? Kids are more likely to be drawn to game systems. The 3DS has a 3D screen that's perfect for testing stereoscopic vision, and it's not like it hasn't been used for other non-entertainment purposes before. The 3DS audio guides used in the Louvre Museum come to mind, and it's already been utilized in medical studies. Remember when people were paranoid that the 3DS would destroy your vision like the Virtual Boy did? Now an eye doctor is using it to perform eye checks on children. Look at how far the thing has come. There's of course other traditional tools that can be used to do what PDI Check does, but using the 3DS as a cheaper all-in-one testing solution seems to be what Dr. Arnold and his team are striving for. Heck, he published multiple studies with his software and even went to a clinic located in a war zone in Burma to test it with the locals there, so I'd say he's pretty confident in PDI Check as a medical tool. Naturally, he'd release his work on the eShop so that other eye doctors can benefit from using it too. But then you inevitably attract a gaming crowd that goes, oh my god, what is this and why is it $100? There's a forum on the PDI Check website where the only post that's not from Dr. Arnold asks him why his software costs that much. And this is coming from a user with the name Vision Fan. Great question, he says. We intend this game to be used in eye clinics. The game replaces conventional clinical tools that cost the eye doctor about $500 for each exam room. A new 3DS XL and a copy of PDI Check cost a doctor around $300 US, so the math appears to add up.
Now obviously I'm not a medical expert or anything, I'm just a guy minding my own business looking for neat Nintendo obscurities. I mean, this does technically qualify since it is the most expensive thing you can buy on the 3DS eShop as of this video. But is it really worth $100 US just for me to review some sort of eye testing software?
Yes it is. I'm gonna pause the video right here to tell you guys that without the generosity of my fellow patron Angry, I wouldn't be sitting here making this video. He actually volunteered and followed through on my joke tweet, so thank you so much. Your sacrifice will hopefully not be in vain.
So, this is PDI Check. Let's dive in.
As I mentioned, PDI Check aims to measure 3 different aspects of eyesight: acuity, color, and stereoscopic vision. At the beginning, you'll go through a warm-up or calibration round of sorts. Use the touchscreen to pick the circle that's a different color, the U-shape that's pointing a different direction, and the circle that pops out to you in 3D.
Success!
Yeah, I guess most of this game's budget didn't go into the visual presentation despite it being sold for $100. Then again, it's a tool, not a game, and I shouldn't judge too hard. But I feel the presentation could still use a little more polish to at least make it more attractive to children who are the ones actually taking the tests. Anyway, you then get to choose one of the free actual tests to undergo. Also, since this is an eye test of all things, I feel like I shouldn't be doing this with glasses on.
I feel more vulnerable already.
In stereo, which is a test for stereoscopic vision, one of the 4 circles will slowly pop out of the screen, and you'll have to select which one it is as fast as possible. Obviously, you can't see the effect in this 2D footage, but you can still see the circle grow in size just a tiny bit. If you pick the wrong one, you're just told to try again. I don't know why this girl is clapping in response to me failing a task though.
Congratulations, you screwed up!
Next, acuity. This tests how clear your vision is. You're supposed to look at the screen with only one eye, and then pick which shape is facing the different direction as all 4 slowly zoom into the screen. It's a lot easier than your typical eye chart though, I feel, unless there's like a specific distance you have to hold the screen away from. Dr. Arnold doesn't really seem to give more specifics. Lastly, color. It's interesting to note that this appears to specifically screen for red-green color blindness. Instead of the obvious choices presented at the beginning, now all 4 circles start off the same color, and one of them will slowly fade into a different shade. This one is definitely the more challenging test out of all 3. And that's it! In the normal procedure, I assume you take each test multiple times to get an average. Then you can tap on results to get your scores on each test reported back to you as raw data, including stats such as your response time and how many times the test has been passed. At this point, I presume the eye doctor performing the test will have to analyze the results themselves to actually make any sort of diagnosis. And yeah, that's the meat of PDI Check. It does utilize the 3D effect and interactivity of the 3DS in ways that traditional tools wouldn't, such as dynamically changing the size and color of objects instead of just throwing a ton of tests your way and seeing which of them you have trouble with. But now I have to wonder, is it really that viable as a medical tool? Now, just a disclaimer, I am in no way medically trained, and what follows is just me speculating and doing what is probably flawed research. But Dr. Arnold did say that while a 3DS and PDI Check cost around $300 US, traditional equipment that tests the same things would normally cost $500. So let's see if that's really the case. Now, for testing color vision and acuity, eye charts and color blindness tests aren't too expensive, at least from what I've seen on Amazon. But of course, for doctors to actually make a diagnosis using these, I imagine they'd also have to buy additional materials like special glasses and lenses, and also they wouldn't purchase these things from Amazon. As for testing stereoscopic vision, traditional tools include things like the Titmus stereo test, which uses things like vectographs and 3D glasses, and they cost whoa. You know what, maybe that $100 price is kinda justified. Of course, after seeing this, some indie developer out there can probably code the same thing in a few hours and claim that selling this for $100 is borderline robbery. But I can sorta see where the team over at Asus is coming from. During their international test drives with PDI Check as early as August of last year, they did discover that it held quite a bit of advantages over using traditional equipment to evaluate eyesight. For one, the 3DS is definitely a lot more portable. Also, the fact that the patient directly interacts with the test interface with the touchscreen means that they can complete it much faster than traditional methods, and it doesn't require doctors to explain a lot of instructions to international patients, thus eliminating most of the language barrier. And these are totally points I can get behind. If they say it's working for them, then I'm glad that more people in developing countries have a much easier access to tools like these that screen for eye problems. On the other hand though, does the app have to cost $100?
This interactive multiple choice game will be free for doctors that work in third world countries, but it'll cost doctors here in the States about $99.
Of course, Dr. Arnold is selling this as a professional tool for other doctors, so I'm sure their workplaces can definitely afford something like this. But I personally don't think that this took that much effort to program to make it worth $100. Then again, I don't know that much about the R&D that actually went into this. Or maybe they just wanted to discourage your average customer from buying it, considering you probably won't be able to diagnose yourself with the raw data it spits back at you. In the end, you can be the judge on whether or not it's truly overpriced. Nevertheless, it's a medical tool that does its job. Should you buy it for yourself? No, heck no, save the money for buying 2 Switch games instead. But for the medical industry, this does appear to be a viable tool. A lot of people crap on the 3DS's 3D effect for being a useless gimmick, but it's legitimately cool to see it being utilized for purposes like this. Of course, it's not without its flaws, especially presentation-wise. But if PDI Check is truly able to help this many people in other countries check their eyes without the expense of more professional equipment, I'd say that's a net positive for the world.
So, good job to Dr. Arnold and his team over at Alaska. Now personally, I have no problem seeing 3D images, so I'm just gonna indulge myself in 3D gaming for a little bit longer. The thing is, I've been playing 3DS games for almost 8 years, and the Virtual Boy still makes my eyes bleed. Maybe I should take a look at another interesting application of 3D in gaming. I'm totally not foreshadowing my next core video that I've been working on for the past 2 months.